Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today I have a quick update that we're going to go over. It's basically some notes that I put together from the dev Q&A the other day. There were some important things that they talked about it, so I figured I'd let the community know. Also, this is my 100th video, so I wanted to do something special. I'm also getting close to 5,000 subscribers, so if Once Human content is something that you're interested in seeing, you know, make sure that you subscribe down below, get me a little bit closer to my goals. But for our 100th video, I'm actually working with Once Human, and we're going to be doing a giveaway of some Christogen. Now, you don't have to be a subscriber to win, but you do have to be in the Discord, because that is where I'm going to be holding the event. So make sure to go down into the description and join our Discord, and I will have the drawing there. We're going to be giving out 600 Christogen to 5 lucky players. So with that said, let's jump into the video. So the first thing they talked about was your mod inventory. People said that they wanted to see if there was a new way that they could expand it so that there were more than 2,000, although I think 2,000 is a lot of mods to have. They said they are working on launching a better mod management system to improve the user experience, but they're not going to actually increase the amount, so we'll see what that comes to. For the Lunar Oracle event, people were complaining that the difficulty was high and the rewards aren't considered worth it, so they are coming up with some upcoming changes. One of the biggest one, and this is one that I've said that they should have had from the beginning, is that players will now be able to progress their Lunar Oracle progress just for fighting those new lunar deviations. So the ones where you need to get 30 kills, which was very difficult because there's always like a million people out there fighting them, and you needed to get the last shot in order to you know, to get all the different rewards for the Lunar Oracle. Now all you have to do is just participate. If you hit them, you get credit, so I think that's a real big win. Next thing, they asked if there was going to be new difficulties added to other scenarios, and they said yes, they will, talking about the silo difficulties. So Nightmare is going to be coming to the Way of the Winter and the PvP scenarios. Also, people complained that the Nightmare difficulty is too tough and asked if it could be scaled back, and they said that no, they like it the way it is. It's intended for hardcore players, so they're not going to adjust it. There was a lot of complaints about the vending machines. I know I was on that list of people that complained about how difficult it is to move around and get the things. So they said they're going to be adding ziplines all around so that it'll be much easier to jump between the machines. They're also going to be optimizing the vending machine layout, so that's good. They asked if there was more dies coming for furniture, and they said yes. They have more coming in May, and then they're obviously going to continue adding more and more as the time goes on. There was questions about the deviation system. They said it's currently very hard to earn a 5 of 5 deviation. So they did say that they're going to be implementing a pity system where essentially every time the deviation drops, you'll have a higher chance to get a better version. So I think that's pretty awesome. It will definitely make it a little bit easy if you're not one of the lucky ones, and I am not one of the lucky ones. The game philosophy on grind they talked about a little bit. They acknowledged that reducing grind may lead to shorter play sessions. People were complaining that all these changes are making the game too easy, but they said their goal is to make the game feel relaxing, but also rewarding. So they're going to add more engagement in the scenarios, and they're going to expand the reward system, but they're not going to make the game grindy. So people that want a grindy game, I am sorry, but luckily for me, I am not one of those people. So they gave us some upcoming content timeline, and one of the things that I feared but was kind of confirmed in this is it felt like a lot of the development was going all in on the mobile launch, which is probably why we haven't seen as many updates as we feel like we should have. But rest assured, the mobile is launching on April 23rd. So that's why we're starting to see a lot more stuff happen recently, all of these great changes that they've been doing. I think because they need less and less people working on the mobile launch. So that is awesome. The mobile, it already has 30 million registered users, which is crazy. It's also really good for the game. They're going to be doing some things once it pops out, free cosmetics, blueprints, and items for the launch. The cool thing about the mobile, and I did a video on this way back in the day when they first launched the testing for it, is that the accounts are shared. So even if you're not a mobile gamer, like I don't play any games on mobile, I may still download it, because one cool thing is if you're playing on the computer and then say you have to go to work or you go out and you're like waiting at doctors or something like that, you can hop on your phone and you can play seamlessly on the same account, same character. And the mobile version is exactly the same as the version in game. It was crazy to me that they have the technology these days to do it, but again, I'm not a mobile gamer, so maybe this is, you know, par for the course. But I just love that you can like be on the computer, have to get up, maybe you're stuck watching a movie with your significant other that you don't care about, you can be just messing around on the phone, still playing, grinding, doing whatever you need to do. So I do think that that is cool. Also, they said make sure that you go and register, because they still have an iPhone Pro Max to give away for registers. So hop in and try to win that. We have a new Visional Wheel coming up in June, which is pretty cool. So Lunar Oracle will be finished and then they'll move on to something else. We are right now in the final phase, so make sure that you're doing that if you want to get all of those prizes, especially now that they're going to make getting those prizes a lot easier. They're also going to be doing Big WoW, which is Way of the Winter optimizations, on their first anniversary in July. And then this is also going to include the 2 new scenarios. They said the details are TBD, and they did say that the event was called Eternal Dreams, but if you are a subscriber to my channel, you know that we already have the information on that. So there's going to be Eternal Dreams, and then there's a PvP one. Both of them go into beta testing this month, so that's really good. We're going to get those fleshed out before they come to us, which will be really good, because right now we end up getting them and then we're like the beta testers. So I think this is awesome. Bug fixes, they said that the tree people that were instantly grappling people and killing them right away has been fixed, so hopefully that won't be there. Then they gave out a free Starchrom Code, which I'll put down in the description, so that's a free 1000. They talked about the new open world features. The pollution zones were added to make the open world more dynamic, so these are like high risk, high reward. And they said if you don't want to deal with the tree people, here's a tip: drink some of the special tea or anything that negates the pollution effects, and you won't have to worry about them, because they won't attack you unless you're like under 50% sanity. Weapons in combat, someone asked if the hammer burst and the critical pulse burst could be added back to the game. They said there were some bugs that they are aware of, so they removed it, but they will be adding those features back eventually. For Loot Crate, they said that the action poses that are tied to the fashion sets will be separated. So I know that's another big thing that a lot of people wanted. When you get one of the new like cosmetic sets, it has like a cool animation, and those animations wouldn't work unless you had the full set on. So I guess they're going to decouple it, kind of like emotes, which would be awesome. That way you don't have to wear the full set or any of the set to be able to use that. The previous Lightforge crates, people were asking if they were going to return, and they said yes, they will return the first half of the year. And then we had a question on the Deviation fusing. So this was something that was still under development. For those that don't know, essentially they're going to give us the ability to combine deviations, extra ones that we have, to build them up. I'm guessing it's going to work like blueprints, where if you combine, you know, a bunch of 1-1s, you could end up with a 2-2, or, you know, so on and so forth. But eventually you'll build them all the way up, just like, you know, blueprints, and then be able to make a 5-5 that way. Character model differences. Someone asked, like, why do the characters look different when you're creating them versus when they are in the world? And they stated that the that when you bring them into the world, the quality is obviously not going to be as high because it needs to load everything, but they are working on optimizations to make that a lot closer to the way that you create them. So then they talked about collaborations, and they said collaborations are coming, but they're waiting until after the mobile launch. I think they already have everything set up for it, but they wanted to give the maximum amount of people a chance to hop into these collaborations and be able to get the items. Then someone asked about lost items, specifically the tamed items. They said if you lose one of your animals, you can right click to retrieve the individual animals, but if all of the animals are missing, you'll need to contact support, as well as if you have any lost items that you can't find, you can also contact support by hitting Shift C. That'll bring up the information to do that. Eternal Land, the mimetic specializations, someone asked if they could be added to the Eternal Land, and they said they will be doing that in future updates, which is really big because what happens is you go in, and even like you want to build something, if you didn't have that mimetic already like set up when you went into Eternal Land, you wouldn't be able to build those particular items, which is a real pain. So what you have to do now is you have to go back to your regular world, make sure that your guy is maxed out with whatever they want to be able to use in Eternal Land, then go to the Eternal Land. So this makes a lot of sense. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't been done. They asked if the building limit's going to be increased. They said they may expand the open world building limit later this year. Depends on the mobile launch stability, so we'll see how that goes. Cross-region item sharing. This has been a big one that a lot of people have asked for, and they said it's not possibly currently because the server regions are basically in isolation, so they don't talk to each other. And then there were some confirmed additions. We have the new scenario, and this is big because they told us that the new scenario was going to be from the Emerald or the Ember Strand to the Broken Delta, which would be the entire map. And then when we asked about it on Discord, Jaeger said, no, that's not, but I think he was confused. So I went back and asked him again. They never responded. So this was asked again here, and they said, yes, it will. The new scenario, Eternal Dreams, the new PvE scenario, will include the entire existing map. So we'll have Way of the Winter and Manibus put together. So that is super exciting, and that's just a couple months away. Even sooner for the betas. Hopefully they'll let NA beta test. I think they're letting China beta test right now, so we'll have to see. And then Nightmare difficulty is going to be added to the PvP scenarios for the silos on May 8th. So Evolution's Call and Prison vs. Clash will get those. And then there was a question as far as the deviations. Will we be getting new ones? And they said new deviations, variants, and mechanics will be added in Q3, June through September. So that was basically everything from the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. And remember, we're giving out I think it's like 3,000 Starchrom to 5 lucky winners. So make sure that you join the Discord. There's a giveaway section there. You'll have to go through and click to get involved. It'll be like 7 days, and at the end, I'll send your names over to Once Human, and they will credit your account with the Christogen. And again, I'm getting close to 5,000. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.